Hey Spuddies, Potato McWhiskey here, and welcome back to my strange addiction, Tower Dominion. I'm loving this tower defense game. It's super fun. We're working our way through the red team right now. I've done a decent amount on the other ones. I do feel like Dvormester Lyubov will be the hardest one to get a good run with. You know what I mean? The building's losing range but gaining damage. That's going to mean that terrain height is going to matter so much more with her. The fact that she gains plus 5 HP and damage per building does help, but yeah, I think she's going to be one of the worst red team commanders. So I'm going to give her a try. Now, the thing about -1 range is that it kind of cripples a lot of buildings and makes them difficult to use. I do think I like this three-way. I think merging your lanes is just the strongest way to do things. Like, honestly, the -1 range makes these Reaper turrets like so much worse than buildings would normally be. So what I'm wondering if this might be like a right side play where we go for the support radar for the HP and damage on all troops, and then we go for the adjacency boost for the rate of fire, because that rate of fire, the 30% rate of fire, will actually scale really nicely for that plus 30% damage. Also, the 25% cost reduction, we could put the Star's Call next to this as well and take advantage of that. I think I will start with a Mirador, because an underground depot Mirador still has really good coverage. We are going to take a little bit more damage, but we do have a little bit more health to play with thanks to the support radar. The commander didn't quite get out in time to protect us. I would like an injection of cash here if I could get it. I don't hate the light mortar position this early. Warwolf positions this early are also really good. I'm going to go for the light mortars because I think they have really nice scaling potential. I'm going to go for the logistic reinforcement. I'm going to save up for that close support because that 5% repair is going to do a lot of work for us. And we also have a pretty big discount to it, so we can get it for quite a bit less than we would normally. Alright, perfect. I love early discovery, especially since we're about to place a tile. Extra supply would be amazing as well. I'm going to go for the discovery. That should give us a really good chance of finding a thingy. I'm going to put the 4-way splitter right here, because then I can connect and do all sorts of nice stuff there. I'm not going to have a lot of recon to control the waves. That's fine. Let's do the close support. So that 30% HP and the 5% repair, that's going to get us through a lot of early game. A lot of early game stuff. I mean, these guys don't do a huge amount of damage, but it'll be okay. They'll clear out an awful lot, reducing the total damage we take, and then they're also going to provide repairs. Mirador efficiency is really nice. Supply production this early can be really strong. I mean, that's 20 supply per turn for 22 waves, and this will scale with other supply boosting resources. So it's a trickle of supply, but it is a trickle over a long period of time. And remember, a trickle becomes a store given enough time. So I think that is the play. We can't quite afford a second Mirador, and I would like to get a second Mirador to be able to pump up the Imperial Stronghold's health so that we can get through the early game. I think that's a pretty reasonable set of things to do. Let's get that second Mirador down. It'll start to do a little bit of extra DPS. We are going to take damage in the early game, but hopefully if we get something that'll boost the HP or regen of our HQ, we'll be pretty happy. 10% damage rate of fire and reload speed is not terrible either, plus a platform. This will help us get through the early stages of this map. I'm not against the idea of rotating this. I think I would rather turn this way. We did get a plus 50 supply. I'm going to put my statue over here. I was considering putting it adjacent to my command center to get the cheaper upgrades, 25%, but I think activating a plus 50 supply is going to be better in the long run. We do need to get more Miradors down because we're tanking a lot of damage. We need to get this close support up for the repairs. Let's grab the underground depot. That's going to give us range, uptime, and DPS. I'm going to grab the light mortar position on the scout hideout, grab the logistic reinforcement, and then we need close support as well. So hopefully we can make it through this wave. I don't necessarily know if we can without taking damage, but we will see. We will take some damage, but less than we have been taking as the DPS of this tower is up higher. Perfect. Cheaper platforms is a good economic booster. I'm going to go for the extra supply offered in reinforcements because I kind of just need some money. We are coming up against camouflage and tunnelers, so that's something we're going to need to keep in mind. We definitely want to connect over here. Let's grab the close support. That'll boost our health as well as our regen. And then we'll need to start thinking about what our next tower is going to be, because 2 Miradors is going to do a decent amount of work, but maybe we should start thinking about the light mortar positions. There's a couple of locations that I think a light mortar would do a lot of work on. Give me that little bit of repair. 300 supply plus Mirador blueprints. That's huge, actually. That's really going to get us through this early game. I'm going to put one right there. I'm going to go underground, logistic, and then close support again. It's just beautiful. Remember, every bit of DPS we get down is less damage we take, and we can crawl our way through this early game. Perfect. Plus 1,000 base HP, boom. That's what we're talking about. We just made it through the early game. We're connecting up our battlefronts, so most enemies are now going to be coming from here, 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 and here. We can just about start connecting these up in a nice rational way. Let's grab ourselves the close support boost on this Mirador, getting us even more health and repair. Let's do a Mirador right here as well. We're kind of covering this arc where enemies are mostly going to be coming from. We will take a lot of damage, that's fine. And plus 5 discovery per battlefront is really, really good. Also, cheaper platforms with platforms is really good. I think I'm going to go for the extra platforms. I like the nest being here. Also, here is actually a good place for the nest. I'm going to put the nest right there. 50% upgrade cost reduction is really good. Okay, camouflage foe. So we need detection equipment. We don't really have detection equipment right now, but that's okay, actually. I would like a single platform here for the mortar, just so that it can actually touch this lane. I'll give it learning machines as well, and I'll do something similar right here. A little bit of AoE damage for the mortars. We do need to worry about these stealthy boys. That'll be something we kind of tackle later. Ooh, an early electric arc cannon could be really interesting. So we definitely want to connect these areas. 10% damage against air units, really nice. Let's make sure we get the logistic reinforcement and another close support. Yeah, the stealth units can hit, but we can tank that. Ooh, that's so many platforms. Give me those. That's 4 platforms. It's ridiculous. I feel like this is a great spot for a mortar. It covers a junction. This is another great spot for a mortar. It covers a junction. Let's give them the learning machines. It's a very cost-effective upgrade that over the course of a game will provide a lot of value. It may even be worth it to give my mortars detection. Maybe not just yet, but eventually we will. Gaining 100 HP every time we place a building. Now that is cash money right there. That's one of the best upgrades in the entire game. And now we've managed to move all of our entrance points over to this angle. Perfect. That's what we were looking to do. I'm going to put a mortar right here with learning machines. And I'm going to put another one right there with learning machines as well. We've got all our mortars down with learning machines pumping away. We definitely want to get the Reliquary of Judaria now. I think we're at a phase where we can save for it. We're taking a little bit of stealth damage. It's painful, but we have the repair to kind of tank through it. Medium mortar positions plus Miradors for anti-stealth would be really nice. There's a height 3 spot right here, and we need that range in a big way. We need the detection. Detection is going to matter. Right now, it's not enough to stop the stealth foes, but it is enough to damage them, lowering the... And I think the amount of damage an enemy does to your base is based on the amount of health that they have. I will take the plus 25 recon and the 400 food supply, first supply rather. Let's put this 3-way splitter over here. Adjacent buildings do more damage. I want to get logistic reinforcement and veteran reinforcement on this Mirador. It has really good uptime in the area, and will do a significant amount of work for us. I do think there's something to be said for perhaps another anti-stealth Mirador right here. That's kind of, now the two of these are kind of overlapping, covering the entrances to the HQ, which will give us pretty good anti-stealth. Might want to put one on the backside as well. Maybe in conjunction with the detection on the light mortars, that might be enough. Plus 20% HP per battlefront. Extra Mirador efficiency when I have a lot of Miradors. I mean, that's just, I feel like that's a good, like, get me through the early game ability. I do think that the Miradors are, like, extremely cost efficient. Also, I like the idea of going for shrapnel for the detection. It's also a 50% damage increase, which is like 10 waves of learning machines. +1 target is also a potential 20% DPS increase. So we'll take that and we'll kind of review how that one does. Yeah, I think the Miradors now that we've got the anti-stealth Miradors, we're looking okay. Mirador efficiency 3 is nice because that could lead us to getting recon income, and recon income is very useful. Plus the Omega emitter is actually not a bad tower at all. I'll pop that right there. We do have a +10 discovery, which will be useful. I think a Durandal next to that is a perfectly reasonable choice. That we will also give it a long barrel so that it can reach nice and far. These Durandals basically need the long barrel to be useful. Retribution positions are disgustingly good. I think I will grab that, plus it had Durandal. So you did 1400, you did 1200. So it's not a huge amount of extra DPS with the shrapnel, but it's fine. Let's grab the veteran reinforcement. I wouldn't mind getting one more close support, but the HQ's HP is nice and full. So I think we're looking pretty good here. I'm looking pretty good. I'm looking happy. Let's see. Extra recon, threat reveal, giving us extra platforms. I don't think, yeah, we would only get we only get 4 more platforms out of this. The rerolls, we wouldn't get a huge amount of value on. Cheaper upgrade plans is actually like disgustingly good, especially since we already have a 30% damage increase. So this isn't even that big of a deal, but it's a huge amount of money to save with upgrade plans. A 4-way splitter right here feels like a decent move. Boom. We got a classified site as well. What I would really like is to build some platforms here and get a couple of Durandals, like absolutely height 3 with long barrel, heavy payloads, just blasting away at strong enemies in the nearby area. They also do a little bit of AoE damage, right? 4 potential targets, which means they do 4 times more damage than you might expect, which is very, very respectable. I do love an armored staging ground. It's one of my favorite late game buildings. It's good to pick up early too. Let's grab it. So we got some floating boys, worth considering how we're going to deal with those. I'll put the 4-way splitter over here, trying to just push the entrances a little bit further away. I reckon it is worth it to put buildings adjacent to the HQ. We just haven't figured out which ones we want. Probably werewolf positions are like well situated because of the warden protocol. If we got a few werewolves off the back of this, it might not be terrible. A medium mortar position might also not be terrible. I mean, if we could position it right here, we could go for extra max range, extra damage. This guy targets the furthest away from the HQ. Minimum range is nice, but I think I would prefer the heavy propellant rings. And then I think I don't need adjacent buildings to get detection. Although that is kind of nice. Maybe data sharing isn't the worst thing ever. The lateral pivot system or the delta wear. Let's go for data collection. It's a little bit of a DPS increase, and then we'll go for the delta wear upgrade. Hopefully this mortar will do a decent amount of work clearing up some of the big bads out there. It's not the most perfectly situated building, but I think it's in an okay spot. +10 recon production is huge for us. I will take that. The air command is less useful. It is still useful. I'm going to turn this corner. I want all my enemies spawning over here. I'm going to place 3 platforms. 1, 2, 3, and I want another Durandal there to be able to take advantage of this really good upgrade cost reduction. There we go. Durandal with the long range barrel and the heavy payload is ideal. +100 supply for a little bit of damage on the HQ honestly seems really, really good. We can sustain that damage pretty easily, I feel. Question is, do I want to save for the Blessed Cannon? Do I want to get myself another mortar position? I could put it here. It doesn't get the HQ discount, but that's fine. Maybe the best thing for us is to... I mean, claymores are just a lot worse. I mean, most towers are just a lot worse with this character unless you can get them on a high height. I don't mind the werewolf here with easy access, shrapnel, and the warden protocol. That'll give it like a little bit of extra coverage. So I think that's what we will do. It'd be nice to have a little bit of AoE damage close to home to be able to take out. Really, you need that for some of the late game splitting mobs. Ooh, more tier 2 blueprints. That's kind of intriguing. I'm going to go for it. This is a perfect tile. Let's grab ourselves another warden protocol. We'll go for easy access, shrapnel, warden protocol. Just gives us that little bit of AoE damage close to home, meaning any splitting foes or groups of enemies can get kind of shredded down. All right, I think we're looking okay. We may have room for some other things. Plus, we got this nice mortar. It's going to toast some of our enemies. It's nice. Boom, 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 boom. Perfect. Might be a little bit late to invest in mortar positions. They still are really cost-effective DPS, especially when placed hitting lanes like this. So, you know, it's not terrible to do this. And it might be worth to start upgrading some of my mortars. But yeah, these two mortars, one mortar here aiming at this, one mortar here aiming at this. They'll do some work. What am I saving my recon for? That's a really good question. Do I want to get the underground garage to get the extra tanks? Or do I want to save for the Navy support? I might go for the underground garage. Okay, I think we just generally need more DPS. I wouldn't mind going for medium mortar efficiency. I can rotate you to the side. Now all of our entrances. I do wish there was a map mode for seeing entrances and battlefronts and enemy paths. It's fine. I want to start with a tank. Nah. What about a sanction cannon aiming this way? Not bad. It's got good coverage. Could go for the blessed machine. Let's do it. Take these bad boys to the next level. We'll do a lot of work softening up the enemies that are getting close. In particular, thanks to its extra AoE DPS. Really helps out. Like this guy did 21,000 damage compared to 10% repair. Ooh. Let's go for that 10% repair compared to the 8,000. So like it more than doubles the DPS, even though these two towers are essentially equivalent. Let's put 2 platforms over here next to the +2 range and 10% damage neutral. We'll get the long barrel heavy payload and then the Claydon cannon on this. We're not going to go for the blessed machine, it's too expensive, but the Claydon cannon will do a similar but not perfectly similar amount of work. I definitely could use more, I could definitely use a lot more platforms with a Slovak howitzer. I think we got to go for those platforms because I have Durandals I can place, but all right, let's do this. Perfect. We have classified sites and stuff. I forgot to get the Reliquary of Judaria. I can't believe that. This is what happened. This is your brain on red team, bro. You just start playing bad. I do want another Durandal. They're incredibly cost efficient. Especially like we've got this quadra coverage here of just shredding high health enemies. The Mega Mucos is going to be a problem. We will need to deal with that. The Durandal will help. It's not a perfect solution, but the fact that it's softening up all enemies is really, really nice. This one I'm going to go for the Claydon cannon because the blessed machine is just too expensive. Cheaper werewolves is nice, plus a couple of extra mortar positions that we can set up with the appropriate upgrades. Remember, they're very cost effective and they had good AoE. Beautiful. 4,000 damage for a very small investment. Plus 25 supply production at this phase it's very late for this extra, but it is going to add up. That's the thing. It always adds up. Now, serious question. Is it time for the electric arc cannon? Because we could put an arc cannon right here. It has really good coverage, and if we go for the shared condenser, it gives 15% damage to the adjacent buildings and then an extra 30% damage to air units. So I think this is actually a really good support position for this electric arc cannon. And then since I don't have buildings, I could just give it a little bit of extra range at the cost of tech points. And I'm going to put a similar one over here if I can. I need a lot more platforms. Durandal position cost is a really, really nice upgrade because it saves you so many resources off the blessed cannon. Pop that right there. I think we need to think about stealth enemies. So I'm going to grab myself a scout hideout here with large squad, C2 mine launcher, and then the compact charges, which will give us a decent amount of camouflage DPS, as well as the C2 mine launchers near the HQ. This is how I like to use my scout hideouts, is just for the slow and anti-stealth near HQ. Since we are up against Lakos again, I think it could be worth it for us to find any height 3 spots and just put a few miradors on those height 3 spots to cover any potential enemies that are like sneaking through our other defenses. Having a look at things, yeah, the splitters are going to be an issue. Thankfully, we do have a lot of AoE near the main and a decent amount of anti-stealth coverage. Cheaper Durandal, 60% supply production is crazy good. Even this late, it still has, like, it does a lot of work. I'm surprised. I thought this character was going to be kind of trash, but I seem to be performing pretty well on them. I'm just going to count that as me being really good at the game. I'm going to not attribute anything else. I think it's honestly down to these 2 Durandal positions just carrying hard. This is honestly a decent spot for one. It's on at least a 2 height, so that's +2 range. We get the long barrels. Now it has really good coverage. Probably can't afford to go for the Blessed Machine, but the Claydon Cannon is almost as good. It lacks the rate of fire, but the extra targets is nice. It's more likely to do that AoE damage, which I think has a lot of value. Okay, so yeah, stealth is an issue. And one of the ways that you can make stealth less of an issue is to add more anti-stealth close to your HQ. Okay, here's a zone command. Now, that's kind of an interesting one. I do like that. It's very late, though. So perhaps we just go for the efficiency. New threat. Tier 1 foes gain 50% HP. I think it's time we go for the armored staging ground. I feel like this is a really good late game ability for getting you through those last few waves. So I'm going to pop one right there, and we'll start going for the flamers. We will get the flamer. Don't forget that this building is actually really good against stealth units too. So we'll stick a bunch of weapons on them. We'll save up for the next one. Medium mortar, shabam, heavy flamer, tracing barrage. The lateral vencadors is going to be one of the things that we go for. Gimme, 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 gimme. See the tanks. Doing that little bit of work. Let's grab the extra recon, because I do have a recon position that I can plop for the anti-stealth ability. It's not a huge amount of anti-stealth damage, but it's a little. I would like to get the underground garage for extra tanks. We're about to hit the last wave, so I'm hoping that these tanks save me. From our enemies. Don't forget the tanks, when they roll out, they have a lot of health, and they also shoot and stuff. Scout hideout costs, cheaper is not bad. I think we'll just go for supply. We didn't have a whole lot of air to deal with this round. So tier 1 foes are going to be harder, and there's going to be more of them. Or there's going to be the same number, but they're going to be harder. So detection will matter slightly more right now. But I don't know if it matters enough that I need to invest heavily into it. I have so many blueprints, and I don't know what to do with them. I think a Reaper Cannon over here on a pivot could be good with the high ground expertise. Height 3 Reaper Cannon sturdy bunkers are like pretty darn strong. This thing will do like probably 10 to 20,000 damage. And maybe a howitzer? Howitzers are hard to place. I don't love this positioning, but we'll put it there. This guy targets the enemies that are closest to the HQ. Here we go. See these Lekos? They stand on the mines and they get slowed. That's one thing I really like about the scout hideout. How are we doing? I think we got this in the bag, baby. Got it in one. That's what I'm talking about. Now, there's not really, you don't really get anything from endless mode right now. So I don't see much of a point of going for endless mode other than like bragging rights. Whereas right now, what I'm trying to do, my current process is I want to try to beat, you know, tier 4 difficulty with every hero. That way I can kind of prove that I'm like knowledgeable about the game. You know what I mean? Like I know what I'm talking about. I do think that Rotmr Vladask is very, very strong. The extra platforms is kind of crazy. The 20% upgrade cost increase is hard to deal with, but let's go for it. The nice thing is he doesn't lose range. Like that last character losing range is hard to do. So because upgrade costs are so much more for this guy. It might be worth it to take the support helipad alone just for the recon production, and then drop these miradors and a sturdy bunker right there. Try and get just as much DPS on the field, much cheap DPS. Ooh, double supply production. That will go crazy hard, especially that was a wave 1 pickup, which is 25 supply production and a 25% supply production increase, bringing up to 150. So it's effectively a 50% increase. I do think going for an early the stars call as this hero, this commander, is pretty strong. So I'll go for the Reliquary Judaria. We are going to need new building blueprints soon. I'm going to go for the recon and the mirador. So let's put down 2 more miradors. I'm even going to pay for an upgrade for 1. Yeah, this guy has a really, really fragile early game. Negotiation skills will help. His early game is just so fragile. That's his biggest weakness. Now, his late game, I think, is quite strong. But man, is that early game fragile. It might be worth it to go Reaper turrets on this guy and the underground depot. We had such a strong eco start too. 20% damage for adjacency. Cramming towers in together is like not something I'm against. We definitely need to get that close support early. Mirador cost reductions would be huge for us to invest in that. There we go, 10% Mirador cost reductions. That's huge. I'll put a straight piece right there. That's beautiful. Close support. We need to save a little bit to be able to get that. We need that health regeneration. That's really going to help us. The support helipad does do work. Ooh, 400 supply right now, or plus 25 supply production. 25 supply production, I think, just adds up over the course of a game in a way that's difficult to not take. So we have our first close support, plus 100% HP every time we place a building. That's going to be really big, especially the guy that has cheaper buildings. We're going to be able to cram buildings everywhere. We're already starting to maze pretty effectively. Let's get ourselves a second Mirador. Extra supplier. I'm going to go for the extra supply. We need that injection of cash early to kind of cut back on the damage we're taking. We really need to get this close support up. I would take more Mirador cost reductions, honestly. Plus 20% supply production could be really big. Again, if we can survive the early game, extra supply production does work. I'll put a building right there. Second close support. Now I think I can get away with going for the statue. Beautiful. More Miradors does fit with my goals. I'm going to go for the Order of Acclaimed Scry and then the Reliquary of Judaria. It adds up to be a really effective eco upgrade. Mirador efficiency I care less for than Mirador cost reductions, but the Durandal is a really good tower. What do we got here? We got Brightas and Mimikos. Let's put you right there. We got a plus 10 discovery tile. Reliquary of Judaria is now completed, so our Miradors only cost 81 supply to place, which is a ridiculously cheap investment. They're still quite expensive to upgrade, but that's not a big deal. Oof. It hurts getting hit like that. Let's have a look. HQ repair per battlefront we don't care for. I'm going to go for the Mirador efficiency because I find that they're incredibly good at getting you through the first 20 waves. I just really do think that they are the go-to tower for the first 20. I might pop a couple of Warwolves adjacent to the HQ as well. And hopefully they will help clear out the masses of the Mimikos. Warden efficiency is super good. I'm going to take that. Plus the reroll potential can help me clean up my maze a little. We definitely want another 2 close supports, I think. And we got this in the bag. Cheaper Mirador costs, yes. That'll add up long term. Now they cost the normal price, but we get a discount on placing them. Yeah, we can go for another pair of Miradors. We do have the space for them, in theory. This is a great spot for a Durandal. It's right beside a 40 supply producer. There's also a decent spot right here. And we want to get the close support and then pop down another pair of Miradors. Yeah, we should be able to spam out Miradors now at like a very, very like low cost. The fact that they cost 61 supply to drop is insane. Mirador efficiency here. We love it. We can get the expertise for the recon production. Underground support. Let's go. Gain 1 Doctrine among 3 twice. This is one of my favorite pickups. Extra damage per entry point is crazy good. Werewolf position efficiency is also super amazing. Let's put you right there. Plus 5 recon. I can't quite activate that just yet. I'm still focused on getting my close supports up. One more close support and then I feel really confident about our HQ's ability to make it through this early game. Durandal position efficiency is also really sick. I think you can lead some really good things. Question if we want to start pumping down light mortars to stack them up. It's quite late into the game. There's some good spots though. Depends. If we get a decimation position, I might look into that more. Right now, I think I'm going to start looking for a different solution. Full Mirador cost reduction is insane. Werewolf position efficiency is insane as well. I don't want to place a flat tile. I'm happy to place a 4-way splitter over here. Like, that's fine. An extra 5% damage per battlefront is neat. Put a bunker there to activate that. I'm going to take the long barrels on the Durandals. And it might be nice to get easy access on these bad boys because it's fire rate and reload. So it means their DPS has like... their DPS happens more often. Recon, the Durandal position or the Salamander. I like the idea of the Salamander position. We could do a lot with Salamanders this game because we do have platforms. Now, thinking of the path that enemies are going to be taking the most, it's going to be probably this right here. So a Salamander right here will like catch a lot of the noise that's going to be coming our way. Actually, a position right here as well would be really, really good. So I tell you what, let's go platform, 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 Salamander, and we'll see how that performs. And then we'll do platform, 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 and Salamander here as well. Now you can see there's a lot of damage potential here. So this platform, this did 2,000 damage, that's okay. Ooh, cheaper werewolves, I do like that. Means investing in them, it gets easier. I'm going to connect these paths. Foes in a range of 3 are slowed. Very nice. I'm not going to upgrade my salamanders right now. I'm kind of just thinking about that. I do like the idea of concentrated flame. It does take recon though, which is a precious commodity. So we got air units. We got 2 air units coming. So we are going to need to think about what our anti-air situation looks like. Where this is where the Claymore plus the salamander starts to maybe come into fruition here. Like if we go for concentrated flame plus the +2 range on Pumas. Right, let's do concentrated flame, target painting, and heat recycling, and then we'll start building the Claymore position adjacent. Oh yeah, this one is doing so much work. This one did 2,000, this one did 10,000. That was perfect. +10 recon, that's huge. Floating canids, Krylos, 4-way splitter right here. We got a detection and range booster, the mono dissector. So the Claymore is awesome because it's really good at dealing with ranged foes. Ooh, I don't have the capacity for this. I might be able to get a Claymore here at the max height. So the big advantage of the Claymore is when it's adjacent to the Salamander position and you get heat recycling, it gets +1 total range, a 20% damage boost, and a 20% cost reduction. Meaning now we're actually just upgrading it for the normal cost. These dual barrel LMGs, they target the fastest enemy in range and they just do a consistent damage, and they do extra damage against air, which is really going to help us cut through these enemies. Now we could give this a lot of range, but what we want is this ammo reserve. I think we could give it big range. It means a lot of uptime. Or do I want it to do more when enemies are in range? I think I want it to do more when enemies are in range. So I'm going to go for the ammo reserve. This thing did 5,000 damage, which is really good. Cheaper Durandals is exciting to me. Means we can go to things like the Blessed Machine easier, or rotate this turning point. I'll grab myself ammo reserve. This thing did 5,000 damage. Hopefully it'll do a little bit more next round. 6,000-ish. Perfect. Extra supply is nice. Late game tanks is good, plus the Claymore defense cost going down. Let's go for the extra supply and reinforcement. That'll open up our options a little bit to kind of go hard on resources. We have a little bit of money to play with. 3 platforms. I guess what might be good is to put 3 platforms right here. And a Puma who can take advantage of the height and the salamander boosting the adjacencies. I'm going to give this anti-air design. I don't think giving an extra range matters because it'll only reach out a little bit. Cheaper Warwolves, cheaper Miradors. I'm going to go for the cheaper Warwolf. We will eventually be upgrading those. Put a straight lane there. Oh, plus 50 supply. You know what we could do? We could do something funny. Put a plasma fence right there. It's a terrible position for a plasma fence though, so I'll just do Mirador with Underground Depot, Logistic, Veteran. So it'll do a little bit of DPS up over there. Hydraulic recoil plus the quad barrage. This thing does 300% against flying enemies, which is amazing. Mission control, that's big. A lot of potential in the mission control. A lot of potential in the zone command too. I think the zone command is going to pay off better because of the way that it works compared to the mission control. The mission control requires a lot of tech points, whereas the zone command requires a lot of resources. Tech points, which we do not have a lot of. So we're going to go for requisition ops on both of these to try and get our income up, and then hopefully scale into that income to ruin our enemies. Let's have a look here. Ooh, decimation positions. That makes those mortars start to look a little bit more attractive. Plus 50% HP, HQ HP. That's pretty good. I do like the idea of a fence here and here and here. That would cover all 3. I can't afford requisition ops just yet, but I will be able to soon. I don't want to spend my recon if I can avoid it. I think I'm going to get myself my fences because they're relatively cheap to just drop down. And they do a lot of work. Like this fence did 5,000 damage, which isn't bad at all. 50% supply amount offered in reinforcement. This stacks. Light mortar positions can go with the decimations. Decimation position here has really good coverage. A decimation position right here has okay coverage, plus it activates the slow. I'm going to put a platform here with a bastion on top. We don't really need detection, so high ground expertise plus a roof-based pulse seems like a good move. Very nice. Okay. Let's just go for a lot more blueprints. And let's get our mortars down in key locations with learning machines. The idea being here that if I put 2 mortars per lane pointing down the 4 lanes that are kind of in existence, and I get them all learning machines, the damage that stacks up on these lanes will build up, and then once I add extra range on these guys, their DPS will cover a larger section of the map. So we'll start working our way towards the mortar fire control system. It's one of the coolest upgrades in the entire game because it takes the mortar tower from being like a pretty okay like local area DPS to being a potentially like map slaying monster. More decimation positions. Here we go. Now we're talking mortar potential. Look at this. Now imagine I'm going to be able to add another 4 range to each and every single one of these mortars. They're going to have great coverage. Decimation position here. Not my favorite. Can we make a decimation position work somewhere? Right there. Platform, decimation position right here. Lots of blue tiles on the path. Frag launchers. I probably should have rotated it, but that's life. Let's get the requisition ops plus the requisition ops. Big money coming in now every round thanks to that. And you can see my mortars just firing in from the range. If I get them 2 more range, they pretty much touch the entire map. Durandal efficiency and platforms is disgustingly good. It's one of my favorites. Let's rotate you. We have another recon producer. That's not a bad place to put a Mirador with Underground Depot and stuff. I mean, this guy does a decent amount of damage. It's not a huge amount, but it's okay. I want another decimation position. This is a good spot right there, so I'll need 3 platforms. 1, 2, 3. Decimation position, frag launchers, mortar fire control. And now these mortars are insane. They can touch all the way across the map. Like if I get more decimation positions and more mortars, they're going to start to become like insane. I definitely could use another claymore position here, so if I do see platforms, might be something we want to consider. The division relay is also quite good here. 10% reload speed on all buildings is insane. It's a huge DPS. It's a huge total DPS increase, so it's kind of hard to turn that down. All right, we got a four-way joiner right there. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. When it comes to the Mega Mucos, we are going to need Warden Protocoled Werewolves or Heavy Shell Shrapnel Overcharged Ammunitions on height 3, which is what we're going to be going for. We have a decent amount of spread out AoE. See, they're getting really close. They're not quite getting there, but they're getting really close. +1 reinforcement choices, even this late, is like disgustingly good. Okay. Where do we want stuff? Might be good to upgrade all of our mortar towers because, I mean, these 2 guys over here aren't doing much, but this guy did okay. I think the problem is when they shoot, the enemies are dying before their shell lands. That might be the issue there. We might actually be just too efficient up here. Let's go for the heavy payload, the Claydon cannon. I'm not really sure what's actually carrying me here. I think it's got to be this Puma and Claymore position. I mean, it's probably this Bastion too. This thing is just stonking out damage. Okay, we took a big chunk of damage there. It's not the end of the world. Warden protocols are taking care of this. Honestly, more light mortars is not bad. Plus the Bastion efficiency. Let's do it. We can light mortar right here. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go for the triple platform beside this location. Shazam. Definitely want the roof base pulsed on this thing. Okay, a little bit of stuff is getting through. Not too much. I think we're doing a really good job of holding them off. These mortars did good DPS. I don't necessarily need more supply. I definitely could make use of platforms. I'm going to just place these for a prospective claymore position. I would like it to have another +1 range because this one isn't going to be as good as the other one without it. Took a little bit of damage there. I think we're going to survive. We do need to be careful about the powerful host because the tier 2 enemies are going to become stronger. More plasma fences could do a lot for us. Warwolf Mastery, though, could be sick. I think the plasma fence is going to do more. Let's double up our plasma fences. Let's upgrade. I can't do requisition ops. Let's get a retribution missile launcher over here. We'll save up our money and we'll just kind of crap out as many tiles as we can. Alright, another retribution missile launcher right there. These guys are getting through and it's annoying. I don't like it. Yeah, that time that actually went pretty smooth. Cheaper plasma fences is nice. Let's go for more retribution positions because I think they did like really good AoE damage. We just need to get as many towers down as possible. So let's loop this to push enemies more the other direction. Right, you right there. And you right here. Sturdy bunkers kind of distributed around randomly. I'm going to do this just for the memes. Let's get our claymore position here. This one I'm going to do it slightly differently. I would like to get the trajectory analyzer if I could. But I will go for the ammo reserve. They will DACA down anything coming in. Okay, a lot of enemies are getting through. Come on! Don't let them. There we go. That was a 2-for-1 episode there, baby. We got 2 victories in tier 4 difficulty with the red team. I really feel like I'm starting to figure this team out. It's trying to figure out like how they actually play. And I got 4 more that I need to win games with before we start tackling frontier mode with them. But before that, I'm probably going to spend some time leveling up the green team and figuring out, okay, how do these guys work? And when I say leveling up, I mean just winning games with them. Learning the nuances of Tower Dominion. Anyway, I'm going to call that the end of the episode. I want to thank you guys very much for watching. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!